The odds of creating a perfect March Madness bracket are 1 in 9.2 quintillion, nearly impossible. But today we're going to see if AI can actually do it, or at least gets close. I'm going to be letting AI fill up my bracket one matchup at a time. We'll speed through some of the obvious games, but when it comes to upsets and close matchups, we're going to see exactly how the AI is making its decisions. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is the prompt I'm giving it. They go with Duke for the first one, obviously, and TCU over Ohio State because their transition game outpaces Ohio State's. Okay. They pick Northern Iowa to upset St. John's. Okay. Why is that? UNI hits their threes and sends Rick Pitino packing early. Okay. Jayhawks have too much depth. Yeah, Kansas is really good. They go with Louisville, USF, and Michigan State. Calm Izzo in March. As simple as that. That's what they say. UCLA, UCF. They pick UCLA because of their defense. Okay. They also obviously go with the Huskies over Furman. All right. So that's the first region. We got one pretty big upset in there, and then the 9 over the 8, which isn't anything crazy. They go with Florida overpowering. Yeah, makes sense. They go with Iowa over Clemson. Their offense is just too good. You know what? That's great. They pick McNeese over Vanderbilt. Okay. I've seen McNeese as an upset pick for every single year in March Madness for the last 5 years, and I don't think it's ever panned out. But they go with Nebraska over Troy. They go with North Carolina over VCU. Say they have too many veterans on their team. Okay. They pick Illy over Penn. They pick Texas A&M upset because of their offensive rebounding. They say Houston's defense will absolutely dismantle them, and you know what? That's true. Houston's defense is absolutely crazy. All right, a little bit of confusion with the AI, but we're back with it. They pick Arizona over Long Island. Pretty self-explanatory there. They take Villanova over Utah State, just more disciplined defense. They pick Wisconsin over High Point. They also go with Arkansas over Hawaii. Darius Acuff is just a stud. They go with BYU over Texas or NC State. You got my guy AJ. I'd love to see them go far in the tournament, even though I'm a Utah fan. They say Gonzaga is underseeded as a 3 seed, and they go with them to beat the Kennesaw State. They say Missouri is a fun team, but they are going with Miami. Looks like they're going with no upsets in the West unless they have Purdue losing, which they likely don't, even though they do bring up the FDU disaster. Keep it nice and simple. They say Michigan not letting a miracle happen again. They pick the Georgia Bulldogs over St. Louis. Their defense is just too much. Going off of defense again, they go with Texas Tech to dismantle Akron with their defense. They go with Alabama, I think they are the best scoring team in the nation, actually. And the rest of these, they stay pretty simple. They go Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, Iowa State. With Kentucky, Santa Clara, they actually said Kentucky is a minor upset alert, even though they're higher seed, but they say Pope's offense should survive. So sweet. Now let's see what it says for the second round. Let's get into it. And they say TCU's speed could be a challenge to Duke, but they do have Duke coming out. And they say Northern Iowa's upset was great, but Kansas also is going to come up with a win. They go with Michigan State to take over Louisville, 2 really good veteran programs. I love Jeremy Fears, so I like that pick. And then they go with UConn over UCLA just because of the history championship experience. They say Iowa can hang with anyone, but they still have Florida taking them out. Similar to what they said with Northern Iowa, they said it was a great upset, but they still have Nebraska moving on in the next round. They say this matchup right here might be the best game yet, North Carolina, Illinois. Well, I don't know if they know that Caleb Wilson is out, but they do end up going with Illinois regardless. And Texas A&M, Houston, they do say that the Aggies' magic ends here, and they end up going with Houston. They end up going Arizona over Villanova. They say Braden Burries is playing like the best freshman in the league. I don't know about that, but he is playing very good, especially considering what a slow start he had. They say they trust Arkansas more to score in the clutch, end up going with Arkansas over Wisconsin. The AI cites these teams' familiarity. Holy crap, that word. I said that so bad, but they do end up going with Gonzaga over BYU. And say Purdue, once again, Purdue's size is just too much for Miami. So they end up going pretty basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Not too crazy. Yaxel Lendenberg, one of the best players in the country, they say carries them to the win over Georgia. Bama over Texas Tech, ultimate offense versus defense matchup. And then finally, they're breaking the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 by going with Tennessee over Virginia, deciding it's going to be a defensive masterclass from both sides. And then say Kentucky does pose a threat, but they still end up going with Iowa State. On to the Sweet 16. They say Cameron Boozer and Isaiah Evans are the best duo in the country and have them coming over Kansas. Pause. They do have Michigan State over UConn, citing just Tom Izzo's overall experience. And I do like that. Jeremy Fears is one of my favorite players. I might have said that earlier. I have no idea, but I like that pick from the AI. They cite Florida's defense as too long, too fast, and they say the repeat hopes are continuing onto the Elite Eight. Bro, they say Illinois wins over Houston. You know why? Because Kasparas Yakizonis of the Miami Heat is gonna come back and check in for Illinois, and he's gonna hit the dagger. Okay, that's a very bold prediction, I'd say, from them. Kasparas just like, nope, I don't want to play in the NBA anymore. Fair play, I guess. Once again, they're just glazing Braden Burries. He might be their favorite player of all time, bro. They have Arizona winning. I'm not saying that's a crazy pick, but the amount of talk that the AI is giving Braden Burries. Arizona's Braden Burries is the best player on the floor. Oh, that's actually not that crazy. Is it though? Like Darius Cuff, Koa Pete, there's definitely competition there. And they do have Gonzaga winning over Purdue despite Purdue's size. Hopefully they don't still think Zach Edey's on the team, bro. They say Yaxel Lendenberg, UAB legend, anchors the defense and stops Alabama's scoring, and Michigan handles the momentum of the game. I like that. And then they go and they say this game is going to be one of the lowest scoring games. No team over 60 points is their prediction, and they're going with Iowa State over Tennessee. So we got 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-2. Not too crazy. Not going too crazy, but I respect. And look at this. I'll just leave this right here. Duke's overall talent, Florida the reigning champs, Wildcats finally break through, Michigan's balance of interior scoring and perimeter defense. The AI's going 1-1-1-1. I mean, 99% sure that has never happened before, but you know, there could always be a first. And they got the matchups wrong for the finals, so we're gonna try it again. We'll try this again. Duke versus Florida, the top overall seed against the defending national champions. Florida has the championship pedigree, but Duke has the most explosive talent in the country. Florida's rebounding and physicality are elite, but Duke's Cameron Boozer is a matchup nightmare for anyone who can step out, hit the three, pulling Florida's bigs away from the rim. They end up going with Duke. I like it. Duke to be in the finals. Arizona versus Michigan. Two teams that have been 1 and 2 in the net rankings for a lot of the season. Okay. Once again, talking about our Arizona playing with a crazy pace led by Braden Burries. Despite the AI's favorite player being Braden Burries, they do have Michigan winning in a thriller. And in the finals, they got a whole thing for us, bro. Okay, let's look at it. Michigan takes an early lead thanks to their ball movement and three-point shooting. Duke looks a bit rattled by the stage early on, but Cameron Boozer keeps them within striking distance. The second half, Duke's defense ratchets up. They first force Michigan into uncharacteristic turnovers, and dominate the fast break points. In the closing minutes, with the game tied at 72 with 2 minutes left, Duke's Isaiah Evans hits a massive jumper. Michigan has one last chance to tie. Duke forces a miss at the buzzer. And they have Duke wing it all 74-72. Not 42, 72. Honestly, I thought there was going to be a little more upsets, a little more craziness, but they tend to went with the on paper better team overall for most of the predictions. But that's it, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let me know if there's any other March Madness videos you want me to do. I'll catch you guys. Peace.